we're going to have a demonstration right now. So I'm going to invite one of our youths, Hannah, to come on stage. Give us a demo, right?
Dito ka na. Live. I cannot. You don't know. You guys don't know. I cannot. I only know Renegade. That's the only thing I know. It's okay. Ay, walang tugtog.
Okay, so we say, do you know what song it is? Based on what Hannah does.
Wow.
Okay, do one more time, huh?
Oh, this is Chinese. Why I don't know the song. Yung ano. Chinese song.
No, it's not demo. Okay, that's it.
Okay, if I have to guess, maybe it's What About You by Bruno Mars?
Close. Don't try again.
Okay, sorry, the wrong time. Usually, that's what I like about you.
Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so this is like a go round. Thank you, Hannah. Okay, so right now, you guys have no questions, and you guys are ready. Can I have just
Turuan ba yan?
anyone?
Alin? Yung ano? Hindi ko alam yung sasewin siya. Alam ko lang kasi yung maya, pero yung mga iPhone na hindi ko alam.
So this is our first round. We say to show our participants dance right now. So. Okay, participants, are you ready? Ready, yeah? Okay, participants, whenever are ready, you all can start dancing based on chess cue. So you guys want to answer the question? Shout out.
Alam mo na. Siguro na.
Anyone? Come on, let's. One more time.
Ano daw?
Hindi ko alam yung title.
So, hulaan natin yung title.
Oo.
Wala ng title. Ano yan?
Ila naman para namang kukubi sa labas.
Anyone? Come on, let's. Yeah, we are ready.
Who's that?
Yes, that's correct. Now we'll show the dance and the song now.
TikTok challenge.
Get up on round one. Okay, we're now going to round two. Okay, can I have one more participant into participant?
Sayaw ko. Sayaw na? Sayaw na yung ginawa nila na ano.
Dance only? Just dance? Do you know how to dance? Just dance only?
Napakita yung video tatatawin. Yung ginawa nila kanina. Susunod ako, mayroon pa ako. I-vlog. Mag-comment ka. Yeah!
Anyone? Okay, this is round two. You see, they show the participants in second dance. We can jump also.
Kaklase niyo pala yun eh, yung nursing aid. Ayun o, yung nakapalda.
Hindi ka kalimutan.
Yung nag-demo na ano, sabi niya, support.
Yan. Yan pala yun.
Oo.
Pag mayroong pa.
Na-recognize ko yung mukha niya.
Pag may nag-challenge sa
Are you guys ready? Can I walk a bit of us in the next one? Okay,
I-like mo yung ano yun.
yeah. Okay, participants, you guys are ready. If you have no answers, I can just shut up.
Ano yun?
Yes, you can sing a song. Okay, yes. That's correct. Okay, y'all can show. Right, good job. Good job, participants. Okay, last round, last round.
Ako na.
Ako
na.
The last participant from each team. We'll be fine, we'll be fine. Come on. Last round.
Parang pag magsasayaw kang walang music, parang kang kawayan na binang nasulo talaas.
Nursing aid yun na yung kanina.
Ha?
Si support. Yung nakapaldang ano, bilog-bilog. Hindi mo nakita? Kaklase mo sa nursing aid.
and submit your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end where we will address your questions. And now it's time to welcome our guest speakers. Sue and Mimi have been volunteering at home as counselors for the past 45 years. Let's put a smile on our face and give Sue and Mimi a round of applause.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting us, Sue and myself. I think she did very well pronouncing my name. It's Tiniriati.
Oh, first time hear that, Mimi. I was thinking you are Mimi.
Mimi is so easy to remember. So it's very. So we're going to watch a video called Stress Bucket. This is for you to understand a little bit about stress. Okay, I'm very nervous actually, first time for me. Yeah. So if you find myself stammering, eating my words, please forgive me. Okay? Because I'm anxious. The topic is about stress anxiety. Okay, so I'm anxious today. We will proceed with the first video.
Stress is something that we all experience sometimes. When problems and pressures get too much, we can start to feel overwhelmed and struggle to cope. Everyday pressures like work, money, and family worries can place huge demands on us, as can big life events like losing your job, family breakdown, or the death of someone close. The stress bucket is a helpful way of thinking about your problems and finding different ways of looking at what's causing your stress. Imagine that you carry a bucket with you. As the day goes by, different problems and demands fill up your bucket. When your bucket overflows, the stress can make you angry, anxious, or sad. Things that you can do to manage these problems and stop your bucket overflowing. Try and exercise a bit more. Eat well and get more sleep. Get support by talking to someone you trust and telling them how you feel. Make a list to help break problems down and think about your priorities. What smaller tasks should you tackle first? Try the relaxation ideas on the Mindful website. Take a short break. Practice breathing techniques and find the things that work for you. Making these small changes can feel good. Like turning on a tap to release some of the pressure you're feeling. Explore the Mindful website for more helpful tools and ideas for coping with stress and keeping your buckets from overflowing.
All of us said that the sizes are different. That's one of a bucket. A bucket is a pail.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
So we can't empty all our stresses. At least we empty some of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, so that we can add every day. Right?
Yeah.
So when it's empty, then every day we put in new ones. So very important that we empty the bucket. Before we go any further, I'm going to talk a little bit about stress. So what is stress? Okay. I have my papers here so that I won't be stressed. Stress is a tension of the mind and the body. It can be described as a change because of change in your physical, emotional, and sometimes psychological. Stress also is an action. Sometimes you feel like you wake up in the morning, you feel like something is wrong. You feel stress. I don't know whether it's your body, your emotion, or your mental. Okay. Everyone experiences stress at some level. The way we respond and handle our stress make a lot of difference. Sometimes we can handle our stress or manage it by involving changing your situation. For example, I'm going to use a domestic helper here as an example. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to myself, but very soft. Okay. Let's take a domestic helper, for example. How do you change your situation? You go to a new employer, stressful situation, where the employer is very stressful. She made me do this, do that, and so many things. So it's a stressful situation. Yeah. So by changing the situation, that does not guarantee you the next employer is going to be less stressful, right?
Yeah.
So but we remove ourselves from the situation. So that is changing the situation. And other times, we can manage it by changing the way we respond to the situation.
Yeah.
We take the same scenario.
Mindset.
Okay, the helper said, "Good man, I want to transfer, I can't take it, it's so stressful, blah, blah, blah." And then the man said, as a domestic helper, we think, look, I want to get out from here. But when you talk to your employer, the employer say, okay, tell me, what's the matter, what's wrong? You say, oh, because, I have no time, you make me sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 3 o'clock, I have no time, I have to look after this, that, and that's so many things. And then the employer feel, okay, maybe we should do this.
Yeah.
Well, interact with the helper. When the helper listen, okay, so she will respond differently. Instead of, I want to leave now, at this very moment, because I've met so many domestic helpers saying, I want to transfer now. Right? So it doesn't work like that. So when she listen and hear and have an effective communication with the employer, she said, okay, what ma'am, I'll give you 2 more weeks. Okay, 2 weeks, a lot of things can happen, right? Maybe she will change her mind, maybe she will not. So that's how you respond to the situation. Okay, that's one. So a stress to a specific event means like you go to a new employer. For example, in a domestic helper situation, or for example, your employer decided to foster 2 new dogs. It's a dog lover here, so have 2 new dogs. Or suddenly the employer decided, look, I'm going to invite my husband's mother, my mother-in-law, to live with me. She's sick, she's unwell, so since I have a helper, I will help. The helper will help me. So the helpers feel very stressful. Very stressful. Look, I have to take something, new chores, right? So it's very stressful for the helper. Or at other time, it could be the employer decided, look, we're going to move to a smaller flat. So it's very stressful for the helper. She has to pack, she has to do so many things. So these are some of the things that we can look out for. And we as a whole, we experience some level of stress. Stress is good. Stress is good in a way. It helps us to plan and achieve things, achieve goals. I will tell you a little bit about that a little bit later on. And stress, it can last for a few minutes, and sometimes you'll go on for hours, and sometimes for days. Stress is important for survival. It's very, very important because there is such things as good stress, which I'm going to say after. But prolonged stress without any support is bad for the physical and the mental well-being.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually we're just going through the surface of things. If we're going to go deep, it will take us about 3 days. So we only have about 12 hours. Okay, so the next slide is about, I miss this. Okay. The next slide is called eustress. Eustress means good stress. The word EU is a Greek word. We are learning something today.
Yes. Use that.
EU means good in Greeks, in Greek, yeah. So good stress. So what is good stress? A good stress is a positive, good stress that keeps us energized and excited about life. Okay, it's a form of stress that is beneficial for our health, motivation, and performance, and our good well-being. Am I speaking too fast?
No.
Just nice, huh?
Yeah.
Because we have a deadline to meet, yeah. And otherwise, this is very serious topic, you know, everybody is so serious. So we have to inject some humor in it. And for those ladies, I speak Bahasa also. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I volunteer in Hope, because I mainly handle the Indonesian domestic helper who needs help. Okay, so eustress occurs when your level of stress high enough to motivate you to do something, to accomplish things, to continue working, you know, to make you do things that you cannot do. And it is short term. That means this stress is very short term, and it's a stress that you can handle. Okay, it's called good stress, positive good stress. And this stress, without this stress, in fact, wake up in the morning, okay, what do I do? I have nothing to do today, I have no challenge, you know, I have no goals to meet, right? So whether it's a good or bad stress, it's a challenge for you. You have to have in life, you have to be motivated to do something. So some example of good stress is like learning a new language, learning a new skill, learning to drive. For example, I think just recently in the news there was this domestic to take up driving lessons.
Yeah.
That's good for her. It's a good learn this again, it's a knowledge. So other than that, winning a lottery is a good stress.
After that, you think what to do with that money?
Yes, your family, your relatives will come and find you. And getting married. Yeah. For some of us, it's a good stress. For some of us, it's a long, drawn stress. Yeah. And riding on a roller coaster. The first time you go for a job, a new job, or the first time you went on a date, you know, you stress yourself. Do I look good? How's my hair? How's my nails? You know, it's a good stress. So these stress are all short term, but we need it. We need this good stress. Otherwise, we won't be looking good. You know, before I come here, I have to go for a haircut. It's stressful to see what haircut suits me. I'm just kidding. So anyway, I want you to think for yourself of an example of a eustress on your own. And what else is a eustress? So you keep it in your heart. So later maybe I will ask, okay, what is it? Okay. So the next thing, having said all this, when a stress is intolerable, I mean you can't tolerate it anymore, you can't manage it. So that's when distress comes in. D-I-S here, not D-E. It's too different. So distress comes in. So when that happens, you have to take action. So my friend Sue will say a little bit about distress. Sue?
Thank you, Mimi. Yeah. So Mimi said, I mean, you can just. So as he said that as a human being, we can't avoid stress. So eustress or the good stress just to motivate us, that keeps us energized. So the opposite of the eustress is distress. So most of the time, as a human being, we can't avoid, as I said, stress is part of human being. So it's not that the situation creates stress, it's how we react to the situation most of the time, 90% of the time, research says that 90% of time, how we react to the situations keeps the stress. So it's up to us then, how we deal that 90% of time as we see that bucket. Like if we react in a different way, our stress level will be under control. So I would like to give an example here, like as we see clients at home, so most of them are domestic workers. So I saw a client who was abused in her previous employer's house, and I saw her for few sessions, and after that she was ready to work for a new employer, and we finished the counseling session. So one day she requested for a counseling session to see me. So when I saw her, she said that, so the situation is she got a job, she's really excited to start this job, she was really happy. But when I saw her, she said that I'm having this constant thought that what if my next employer would be like my previous employer where I was abused. So which is true. Most of us go through that. So I just validated her feeling. I said it's very normal the way you are feeling. That's how our mind works. It tries to keep us safe actually. So you are constantly getting this thought, but it's not necessary. So I asked her, how do you feel when you are having these thoughts? She said, I get really nervous, I get scared, I just don't want to work anymore. I just feel like going back home. So when I just talked to her, she said, but I really want to work here. I have a dream. I want to build a house back home. And this is really important. My kids are going to college. I need finance. But I'm so scared. I have this energy now. I'm just feeling down. I don't have any energy when I'm thinking about it. It's low mood, low energy. So then then I just talked to her, like, what's your goal? She said that, yeah, I really want to do this job, but right now I am feeling this in my body. So I just saw her, look, the situation, you got a job, you need to be happy, but your mind is telling you that, no, what if my previous employer will be like my new employer? Then you started feeling like this. What is telling us? But sometimes thoughts are not true. We all know that. It's just thought again. But whether we are going to act on that thought or whether we have to think at that time, what is important for me right now? Even though how difficult it is, what my mind is telling me. My mind is giving me all these reasons not to do. It is trying to protect me, not to have the similar hurt, but it is not helpful for me. Then after one session, she was ready and she's doing a job, she's doing really well, she's happy. Yes, I know sometimes our minds gives us all these stories, tell us, but ultimately it's trying to protect us. But we have to sometimes tell our mind that this is just not the thought. It's not true. It's not real, even though how bad it is. If we want to move on in our life, we have to react in a different way. And we all know that, even though, yeah, change is constant. So why not, even though it's stressful, we take it in a positive way and act on it.
Yeah.
So, next one is identifying stress. Also, so there's different type of stress. One is called the real stress, which is like the family, something happens to our family member, children, or the health issue, relationship, financial crisis, and problem with the current employer. Those are the real stress. We can't avoid that, and we have to act on that, and we can plan like what we can do at this time. And the other kind of stress is like hypothetical stress. Hypothetical stress is more like, what if? What if I lose my job? What if my friend will not talk to me? What if I cross the road and something will happen to me? What if my family will get COVID? So those are hypothetical, which we don't have any control. Identify. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, and we don't have any control. So sometimes we identify, sometimes we just, maybe we just find out stress when we feel. So that could be psychological sign, that could be emotional sign, that could be physical sign, that could be behavioral sign. Then we find out that, oh, maybe I am feeling really stressed. So psychological signs such as when we find it difficult to concentrate, constantly worrying, and we feel anxious and trouble remembering things, then we think that, oh, I am getting stressed right now. And emotional sign could be like when your friend says that why you are getting angry for everything or irritable or maybe moody or maybe frustrated. So physical sign like stress is actually, we just think that stress we are feeling in mind, but it's really affect our body in a very bad way, like high blood pressure is in India because of the stress. And sometimes we change weight when we are very stressed. Some people just fluctuate the weight. Some people gain weight. Some people just reduce weight. And so we feel the lower body immunity also, the body immunity also affect, and menstrual cycle also affect. Behavioral sign, we can say that self-care. It's also change at that time when we are really stressed. Some people try to avoid stress, they rely on the drugs and alcohol for the coping strategies. So those are the signs of the identifying stress. If you are having any of these symptoms, then you have to start thinking about it, maybe start talking to someone you trusted.
Okay, before we go to the next video, I remember something Sue mentioned about meeting a client in home. I have the privilege of meeting quite a number of people who say, quite a number of domestic helpers say that they are stressed, they don't have stress. Is that possible? Is it possible to be stress-free?
Yeah, resilience level, yeah, but it's not possible.
So I probed a little bit, say, can you please tell me why you are not stressed? She said that, okay, maybe they were stressed before in the situation back at the employer. But now they're in home, they're no longer stressed, okay, that's good, you are no longer stressed, but it's impossible to be stress-free. And so we talked a little bit, and she said, okay, I don't feel afraid anymore, I don't feel, like I have to wake up on time, because at home, you are left mainly to your own device. I mean, so we take care of everything. I don't mean we, I mean home take care of everything. But then I went into it a little bit. So how about your family back home, in your kampong or whatever? She said, yeah. So they are away from one stressful situation, but the stress they have back home is still there.
Yeah.
So whether they are stress-free, maybe at that instant, because we are living in the now. So the now, the present they are at the home, they are stress-free. Because when they are at home, the only concern is them working, earning money. They are earning money for the family back home. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, I overtook you. So now we're going to watch a bit of anxiety video.
Hey there, I'm Blanco.
And I'm Matt from the YouTube channel, Matthew Schuler.
And welcome to Life Knock. It's a few minutes before your big talk. Your hands start to shake, your heart starts pounding. You, my friend, are feeling very anxious. But luckily, this is okay. Anxiety is a normal response to stressful or dangerous situations, and almost all of us have experienced it before. However, a smaller portion, about 18% of us, experience what is known as an anxiety disorder. This is a mental illness in which the anxiety lasts for at least 6 months and is characterized by distress that can interfere with the person's normal life.
Someone with this disorder may have their anxiety triggered by specific things called phobias, which lead to a person completely avoiding certain situations. Closely related to this is social anxiety disorder, which involves overwhelming worry about being judged by others or being embarrassed in public. On the other hand, some people may have generalized anxiety disorder, which involves persistent excessive worry and tension that may not have an obvious trigger. And for people who get panic attacks, the feeling of terror strikes suddenly without warning.
But what's actually happening in the brain? Let's take a look. Well, a major player seems to be the amygdala, a pair of almond-shaped structures located deep in the brain. These guys are a part of the limbic system and are responsible for fear and other emotional reactions. The amygdala then tells the hippocampus to initiate the fight or flight response. This results in the release of epinephrine, increasing the body's heart rate and blood pressure. The sympathetic nervous system then kicks into overdrive and produces some of the physical symptoms that we see in people with panic attacks.
Some studies suggest that in patients with generalized anxiety disorder, their amygdala are less connected to the areas of their brain that determine the importance of certain stimuli. This means that it may be harder for these people to distinguish between something that's mildly annoying and something that's definitely worth worrying about, like if you're going to be attacked by a giant snake, for example. Treatment usually involves some type of psychotherapy or different drugs. These conditions are very serious, so if you or someone you know may have an anxiety disorder or want to learn more, check out some of the links in the description.
So leave us some tips in the comments about how you deal with your anxiety. Whether it's mild or severe, we can all help each other out. Make sure you come back every Monday for a brand new video. And don't forget to check out Matt's awesome video on ways to treat anxiety. Check out his videos now, he's amazing. As always, I'm Flacco.
And I'm Matt.
This has been Life Nugget. I'm Flacco.
Sorry about that. Okay, earlier we talked about briefly stress. So stress is the tension in your body and your mind. So what is anxiety? As I mentioned earlier, it always comes together, like girlfriend and boyfriend, right? So anxiety is the mind and body reaction to the stressful, dangerous and unfamiliar situation. Okay, it's the sense of uneasiness, distress, dread feeling you feel before a certain event. Are you okay there? Yeah, this girl here. Hi. You, yes, you. Okay. Sometimes anxiety is a signal. It's a signal to tell us that something is not quite right. You feel like, okay, like I walked this path so many times. Like, okay, you come back from your jalan-jalan with your friends on Sunday afternoon. So one Sunday afternoon you came and you walked through this path, like I walked this before, but suddenly today I feel a bit different, I feel like I can see something at the bushes there. So this is anxious, this is anxiety. Okay, anxiety includes feeling of worry, nervousness, and dread. Dread is fear. Anxiety helps us to stay alert and be aware of surrounding, of situation, of people. And it can help us avoid danger and make meaningful changes or decisions. Okay. It is normal for us to feel anxious before an event. Like for me, I think both of us, we were so anxious. Yeah. We couldn't sleep. This is something that we do every day, right? When we meet people, But today is like, okay, we're going to be in front of hundreds of people, and we're so anxious. But it's normal. It's normal, and it's only abnormal when it becomes a part of your personality.
Constantly feel it.
Yeah, you're constantly anxious, like, hey, come on, hurry up, and it interferes with your daily routine, with your daily life. Then you have to seek help or address the issue. Right now, are you feeling anxious? No. Well, I am.
But it's normal, Mimi.
Yes.
Once the event is over, you will not feel anymore.
That is so true, because I think since last year, when they were in contact with us, we're not so anxious. Anxiety level just shoot up. We are not stressed. I'm not stressed, but it's the anxiety. Okay, it is very normal, and because when COVID happened, everybody was feeling anxious. Everybody was feeling the same way. Not only us in Singapore, all around the world.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, and the Singapore mental health, they found out that there was an increase of 80% of people seeking counseling. So is that good or bad?
No.
Why is it good?
No. Wait.
They're asking for help. They're not suffering alone.
Okay. It's good they are seeking counseling, but it's bad when they have to go counseling. You see the difference there? So when you have to go counseling, then it's bad. But when they realize, oh, I need to go for counseling, then it's good. Okay? So stress means feeling trust. Just maybe once over, it's very uncomfortable. But once it's over, stress or stress experience, perceive, available. What does it mean? Okay, that means like this challenge. You feel like you exceed all your resources. I feel so helpless. That sometimes we a bit lazy lah, we don't know where to look for. But we forget that we have external resources other than ourselves. Let's say, for example, we are abuse victim. We feel that we are alone. We feel we are alone, like nobody can help us. But we forget we have families, we have friends, we also have neighbors.
Neighbors also maybe. Any trusted individual.
Correct. And we also have organizations that could help. So actually, we are not alone. But most time when we're in this situation, we feel like, we are alone. So everybody, it doesn't matter you're a domestic helper, you're a volunteers, you're a managers, you're a counselors, or you're a me, it's help is everywhere right now in Singapore. Okay, sometimes we worry, we constantly worry about our job, I think mainly about our financial situation.
Yeah.
No, we're not so much worried about our job. We can find job anywhere, but financial situation is very, 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 very. When your worry is more than 6 months, then it becomes a disorder. So anything below 6 months, like 5 weeks and 7 days, 6 days, is not. So it has to be at least look for. You still have to go out and look for help. What does stress and anxiety looks like to you? What does it look like to you? Okay, one of them is you find, let me change the slide. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, are you reading? Oh, take picture. Yes, it's very good, very good. You can, next time when you at night you can't sleep, oh, this is what it means, right? So you find difficulty in sleeping. You fall asleep, then you wake up. You wake up and you think about nonsensical thing. You think about this, that, and the other thing. And then your muscle, your body ache for no reason. Right?
Yeah.
That's one of the other symptom, what it feels like, and you feel tired and weak. Suddenly your heart rate beating so fast. For those who love running, it doesn't. Your thoughts are constantly racing. You're thinking about things like what Sue mentioned earlier. What if, what if, because these things are, before it could happen, always happening, like you're thinking about it. This is something that's not within our control. And you can't relax. And then your productivity level went down. And then at night when you sleep, you start grinding your teeth. It's also a sign of stress and anxiety. And it is time for you to go and see your dentist also. Okay? And sometimes nightmares. And in some more scenarios, you get panic attack. You're talking to your friends, suddenly you feel, I can't breathe. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It happens, right? So you say, okay, you need medicine. What do you need, So you need to find out what to do. And all that, right? So what can we do when we feel like this? We have what we call a coping strategies, right, Sue?
Thank you, Nini. Yeah. So as we talk about stress and anxiety is part of things, you have to learn or be able to help us to move through. The most important thing is maintaining a balanced life, like eating where we all know that healthy eating helps us, not only our physical body, that's also help our mental body. Then sleeping well, it's, as we all know that sleeping, how important is the sleeping, that's the only downtime our body just get completely rest. And that helps us for our memory, that helps us for our digestions, that helps us for our heart. So for a healthy adult, like 7 to 8 hours of sleep is definitely recommended. And then, as we all know, the importance of the exercise just not only for the physical good, that's also very important for the mental well-being as well. When we do exercise, we release a hormone which makes us happy. That's like a happy hormones. So exercise keeps us happy, exercise keeps us fit, and when we are human beings, we like connections. So that's very important. So even a newborn baby wants connections, that touch. So if we are having talking frequently with our loved ones, we are talking to our friends, we are having even good relations with the employer, that's very important. Then when we are stressed, we have to always find out whether this is a real stress or it's a hypothetical stress. If it's a real stress, do something about it rather than just thinking about it. Then if it's a hypothetical stress, that's beyond your control. You can't do anything about it. So maybe just set a time for that. Maybe just set a time like 15, 20 minutes for that. Okay, I will think about it at that time rather than thinking about it all day, all long, so which is not anyway productive. And then alcohol and caffeine, that too much of that also increase stress, so we need to avoid that. And do some activities which you used to enjoy, like listening music or reading a book. That's also helpful quite a lot. Those are the strategy. If you are doing on day-to-day level, then that's actually reduce stress. That keeps remember, always keep in your mind that bucket. That is actually in our nervous system. So we have to calm our nervous systems. We take a little bit of here and there extra. If already our nervous system is occupied and fully stressed, we can't take any extra load. So self-thought is not real and goes. If you just hold it just slightly, it will not bother us or we will not get stuck. So that's important. And try to achieve small things like learning new things. When we learn something new, it gives us a sense of achievement. We feel good. So learning new things helps us. And for some people, writing a journal also quite helpful, like what 2 things we are grateful for. This really Like some days we feel that, oh, my days is just going so bad. But even when you sit down at the night and write down, well, actually, yeah, even though I had such a bad day, what I am grateful for. Yeah, I talked to my loved one, or I had a good meal with my friend. Even you don't realize at that time, those small things also matters quite a lot, and that's helpful for our mental health. So writing journal is also quite helpful. And as I mentioned you earlier, like exercise, yeah, it's very good not only for our physical health, that's very good for our mental health as well. And writing a thought and mood journal also helpful, because when we are going in that negative cycle, we are thinking when we write down in a piece of paper, we can see that, yeah, if I am feeling like this constantly, then maybe I should talk to someone. Yeah. So writing a thought and mood journal is also very helpful. And then what things you have control and what you don't have control, you can just learn how to do that by through all these coping skills. Then avoid try to fix everything, switch beyond your control. Like we can do certain things, but we can't have control or fix everything. And I think setting healthy boundaries, that's very, very important for all of us. And that setting the boundaries, we can only set boundaries for ourselves. We can't set boundaries, but for example, my boundaries will be very different compared to Mimi's boundaries, or example, anyone's boundaries. So when we set boundaries, actually we protect ourselves and we can give others more. And then, as we know that our mind is like constantly good at worrying. They are like our best friend. Constantly tell us not to do this. You have already once hurt by doing this, so don't do it again. So they are like our best friend, and we are very expert in it. So sometimes just tell our mind that, okay, I know what is best for me, and please, I know that you are trying to help me, but right now you are not very helpful. And then I'm a big fan of actually here and now. So grounding exercise is very useful, which brings you here and now rather than thinking about the past, which we can't do anything about it, or the future, we don't have control over it. So what we have is just now. So I personally practice this all the time. And if you practice this skill, it will help you. Like coping strategies are like not like you are really stressed and you try to do something at that time. It doesn't work. Like for example, if you don't know how to ride a bicycle, you just can't just sit in a bicycle and start riding it. You have to practice this skill to be expert so that whenever you need, you can use it. So this grounding formula is help us to bring us here and now. And when we are constantly in our thought cycle and thinking in that thinking mode, which is going round and round and round and round, it's just to break us and bring us to the present moment rather than going in the past or going in the future. So that's the we will practice that towards the end. That's called ACE. So A is whatever thought and feeling you are going through, just acknowledge that I am having this thought. Like for example, I'm having this thought that my friend doesn't like me, yeah? And then come back to your body, feel. Because most of the time when we are having this thought, whether it's positive thought or negative thought, we just stay in our mind. We just leave our body and just go round and round and round. So come back to your body, feel your body, because your mind is a part of your body. Just come back to your body. Then engage with the world around you. Engage whatever you are doing. Engage what is important for you and what you love most. So we will practice that, yeah, after it. Maybe you want to add something? Any other coping strategy in your mind?
Okay, I quite it's a bit like mindfulness actually, right?
Yeah.
It's being present in the here and now. So you be present, right? Don't think, as much to say, the past is over, finished, kaput. But the present is now, is what's happening right now. And the future is beyond our control. and also the future depending on what the action you are taking, right? And
What do you learn from the past and what do you want to do in the future? And that exercise, I mean, we are going to play it for 7 minutes, but you can do it as short as 30 seconds or as long as 7 minutes. And you can do it anywhere while washing dishes. I'm telling you from my personal experience, you can do it while washing dishes or while cutting vegetables or while giving a talk or while in a meeting, wherever you want to do it. There's no like formal thing like sitting in a mat, doing a meditation. It's not like that.
That's nothing. So I would just want to say something. Some people never learn from their past.
That's okay. That's okay. Maybe it's not the time.
Yeah.
It's not the time. We're not here to judge anyone. Maybe it's not the time.
We're not judging anyone. So this topic is how can counseling help? Before I go into this topic, I want to talk about why some people don't want to go for counseling, right? First thing they say, look, I'm ashamed. Counseling is only for crazy people. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Why should I go for
You
counseling?
feel in that way?
No, something.
You know, it is true. So in the West, in the West country, in the Western country, you say, are you seeing a therapist? No. What's wrong with you? They think you're abnormal.
Yeah.
But in Asia, you're abnormal, then you go and see a therapist or a counselor. But it's good now that the government, with all this situation coming out, COVID, domestic violence and abuse, whatever, right? So the government is promoting counseling. So one of the things that's quite interesting, I want to read here. She said, I could not afford counseling. Okay, it's expensive, but there are organizations that you can go
For free counseling services.
for free counseling services. I mean, it's only maybe for 3 sessions, right? But don't come after 3 sessions under a different name, And one of the things they say, oh, Singapore is so small, everybody will know about me. We are governed by, they abide by an ethical standard. So whatever they said between us, not us like this, but between the counselor and the counselee stays within our boundary, unless our client say, look, I feel like killing my mother, or I feel like hurting myself, I feel like hurting somebody, then we have to take action. Then the confidentiality is no longer valid. That's one of the things. And one of the things they say, why should I talk to a counselor when I can talk to my friend? Okay, it's good that you can talk to your friends, but our friends are biased. They're biased. They say, hey, I don't like that girl. I say, I also don't like.
They know everything about us, so they can't give you as you said, advice.
They cannot give a neutral answer, right?
Yeah.
They have to be, otherwise you won't be my friend anymore. So they have to agree. So if you go to a counselor, firstly, the counselor is a stranger. So I don't know you, you don't know me. Right? Then they will say, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to talk about when I go to see a counselor. No, you are wrong. The counselor has to find the key to the lock. Right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the first time you say, sorry, I have nothing to say. Sometimes by saying nothing, they are saying something to you.
Yes.
What is
Actually, I just saw a client and she said
Listening.
I'm okay. I don't have anything to say exactly. And she just talked to me for an hour and she just poured her heart out, cried a lot. But she said, I'm perfectly fine. I don't have to see.
You know why? Because you found the key.
You're absolutely
Yes, you found
right.
the key. Because
And we just set appointment for next week again.
wonderful. You see, we always start like, I have nothing to talk, I'm fine. So they sit there, like, counselor, okay, you're not ready to talk. So they're telling you, look, I'm not ready to share anything, right? So once they are ready, the next thing you know, they will talk for hours and cannot find the key to lock the padlock again. Yeah, it happens to me so many times. You say, okay, what's wrong with you today? Can I help you today? Nothing? Okay, I see you next week, same time. Then next week, nothing? Okay, we don't give up, right? Because we want to help people.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So like physical health, it's like mental health. We all need help.
Correct. So you be there, you be present, be in the now. So on the third day, on the third times, you're going to leave soon in 5 minutes, because you're expecting her to leave because she's got nothing to say. The next thing I know, all the floodlights, the dam is open, and so we have to be patient.
So do you understand what you mean by floodlight? What Minnie said, floodlight and the dam open? Did you understand?
That means there's something
Discarding.
The flight, the aha moment. Yeah, right? And also the dam, suddenly they cry. So when they want to cry, let them cry. Let them cry. Don't ask, hey, what's wrong with you? Stop crying, let them cry. So now we go back. See, this auntie talks so much, right? So this goes back to this slide. Can counseling help? Okay, how can counseling help? The person will receive a well-trained, a knowledgeable person, a professional, talking to a professional. I don't mean that your friends are not professional, but if your friend is a counselor, you cannot go and see her. There's a rule.
Ethically,
It's
it's
an
absolutely
ethical
wrong.
issue.
You should not see your
Cannot see your
family
friends.
member as a friend.
Correct. So, confidentiality. So whatever they say between the counselor and the patient is between them. The other domestic helper will not know about it. But this domestic helper network, wow, they're better than Singapore government, right? Right. Okay, so the third one is developing a plan to address stress and anxiety. Not all coping strategies suits everyone. Okay, some people, they like journaling, sit there, tell the story. I love this, I'm grateful to this. But some people, they find it's like 30 minutes of writing, sitting down, very wasteful. So they like to go and walk, go and do walking, hiking, cycling, running, right? Or baking, right? So their coping strategies is different. So the counselor will help them to develop and sift through what is good for you and what is not. But all the decisions come from the client, not from us. So another one is connect to referrals for medication. Let's say your stress level and your anxiety level is so high that counseling doesn't help. So you need medication. So the counselor will refer you to a professional. Go and see the doctor, After 6 months, you find your anxiety level still there. So we will refer you to a doctor. So when you approach a counselor, when you approach, when you find that you can't focus on your work, you have relationship problem, not only with your employer, because I'm talking in the context of domestic helper here, but for the rest of us, maybe our employer, right? Or our friends, our family, our neighbors, our pet dogs, Suddenly you find, I'm not kidding. Yes, there are cases in the news, like suddenly this loving on YouTube, right? This guy, he hurt his pet dog. Before that, they were so loving.
You must be fine.
Yeah, so there's something wrong. And it is affecting your day-to-day life. Yeah. You wake up one morning and you feel like, I don't feel like waking up. There is something wrong with us. So these are some of the things that we discussed today. So I hope you have some questions for us. I'm so excited. Okay, the next one is the ACE formula that we're going to practice. Okay?
Please make sure before you get started with this exercise Please make sure before you get started with this exercise that you're in some sort of situation where you're unlikely to be disturbed or distracted so that you can give your full
So are we
attention
all ready to
what
do
we're
this?
doing. And find a comfortable position, which could be sitting, could be lying, could be standing. It's really up to you. Dropping anchor is an exercise that helps us to engage in life and take control of our actions. All day long, we drift off into our thoughts and feelings. We get hooked by our thoughts and feelings, and our attention is pulled away from where it needs to go. So the aim of this exercise is to train yourself to get better at realizing that you've drifted off into your thoughts and feelings, to unhook yourself from them, come back into your body, take control of your actions, and engage in the world around you. So now, taking a moment to notice what thoughts and feelings are showing up for you. Notice what your mind is doing. Is it whirring or still? And gently scan down your body and notice what you're feeling in there. Are there areas of tension or tightness? Are there areas of numbness or emptiness? Are there painful emotions? Can you feel knots in your stomach or tightness in your chest? Just notice what thoughts and feelings are present right now, and see if you can quickly name those thoughts and feelings. For example, I am worrying, or here's anger, I'm noticing anxiety, here's a feeling of numbness. And once you've acknowledged the thoughts and feelings that are present right now, come into your body, get a sense of your physical body. Push your feet into the floor or wiggle your toes. Straighten your back, straighten your spine. Gently move your arms and your legs. You might like to gently press your fingertips together and feel your arms pushing against each other, or to shrug your shoulders, or to move your neck around. Get a sense of your whole body, your arms, your legs, your hands and your feet. Perhaps have a stretch. So there are thoughts and feelings that are here, and there's a body here, a body that you can control. Now, this body is in an environment, so get a sense of the environment that you're in. Open your eyes and ears, look around you, notice where you are and what you're doing. What can you see and hear and smell and touch and taste? Reach out with your hands and touch something. It might be your legs, it might be the floor or the chair, it might be the other hand. Touch something, feel what it's like as you touch it. Again, move your shoulders, move your arms, move your legs, have a stretch. There's a body here that you can use to engage with the world around you. Look around, notice 3 or 4 or 5 things that you can see. Notice 3 or 4 or 5 things that you can hear. Breathe in the air. Notice what it smells like. Are there any scents or aromas? Is it fresh or stale, indoors or outdoors? Breathe it in. And once again, check in with your thoughts and feelings. What's your mind doing now? Is it silent or whirring? Is it saying something helpful, or is it complaining? Once again, check in with your feelings. Scan your body. Notice what feelings are in there. Are there areas of tightness or tension? Are there pleasant feelings or unpleasant feelings present? And try silently naming them. Again, say to yourself, here's my mind shattering. Here's a feeling of sadness. And having noticed and acknowledged the thoughts and feelings that are present, once again, come back into your body. Straighten your back. Take a breath. Notice your arms and legs. Move them around. Have a stretch. Wiggle your toes. Perhaps gently push your fingertips together. Feel your hands moving. Get a sense of the body here that houses all the thoughts and feelings that are present. And again, you have control of this body. You can move it and do all sorts of things with it. So now get a sense of the environment around this body. Open your eyes and ears, look around. What can you see and hear? What can you smell and touch and taste? Where are you? What are you doing? And we're about to end this exercise. And whatever you do next, the question is, what are you going to do with this body? How are you going to use it? Where does your attention need to go? What are you going to focus on? Where are you going to direct your attention and your energy in order to make the most out of whatever the situation is that you're going into? So let's just do one ultra quick anchoring again. Take a moment, notice your thoughts and feelings. Notice what's happening in your body. Now come back into your body, move your arms and legs, have a stretch, straighten your back, regain control of your actions. And finally, engage with the world around you. Notice what you can see and hear, touch and taste and smell. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever situation you are moving into, where do you want to focus your attention? Where do you want to direct your energy? And refocus your attention on whatever you need to do.
Pinatay pa yung ilaw.
These are some of the places, the resources that you can go to if you need to speak to somebody, to seek counseling. They're all free of charge. You can take a picture. Okay, we've come to the end of our sessions. So if anybody has some money to give me.
I have some questions for you.
Everybody's asleep. I think the exercise was really good.
So really thank you, Lee and Sue, for your sharing. I really benefit a lot as well, especially, like eustress. I think having stress is important, and that, thoughts are just thoughts. I need to learn the fact which are not true. I need to remind myself as well. So yeah, like I mentioned, we will now move to the Q&A segment. So throughout the session, some of you have submitted your questions online. If you did not manage to submit your questions, you can actually raise your hand, and my host Nicholas at the back, he will come to you with a mic. So now, maybe let me ask the first question. Okay, so I think many of them may not be able to, you're always working and everything, right? So the first question is, what can the person do if they feel like they lack social connections and they cannot talk to anyone else outside the family until like it's their off day or Sunday?
Okay, so your question is like they don't have anyone to talk to them.
Yes, correct.
Other than
They are like, maybe they can talk to their family, but the family, they are not able to talk to them until like it's during maybe a free time on Sunday, but they do not have any other social connections besides them. What can they? What are some of the things that they can do?
It's a very good question, actually. I will Google it.
I think so. You're saying on the weekdays.
Yeah.
So I mean, they don't get their phone to talk to their loved one. That's what you're saying.
Maybe in extreme cases, like maybe there are some employees that doesn't really allow them to meet anyone or use that phone during work.
But as we all know that that's not healthy, right? We need to, they should get some time. But how they can negotiate with their employer to have that 1 hour a day, maybe just go out and talk to the talk to other helper, talk to very different than whatever they are doing. I think we all need that.
Like we can try to go on the walk outside if possible and talk to anyone, any other.
I think at that time they can talk to their family, but they have to. This is very different. They have to negotiate with their employer before even start this kind of job. Like, what is like they are signing up a 2 years contract. Sometimes, even though initially I have faced a lot of time this kind of plan. when they initially come to Singapore, they just say yes because of the family pressure. For them, the finance is so important, but it's not realistic in long term. They commit to this kind of stuff, but they, yeah, after a few months, they feel that this is not right. I can't do it anymore. And yes.
So had some negotiation before they sign the contract as well.
Yeah, I mean, at least some level. What do you think?
Well, I think previously is as such, but I think now the rules have changed a little bit, right? Everybody's given a day off on Friday, on Sunday. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, other than that, I'm sure they are constantly on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is good. It's a form of connection, even though there's no connection, right? It's not to be verbal, it could be visual. So it is a connection. When you look at it, you feel like, yeah. Then your mom think you're crazy. Then you see a counselor, then you talk to a counselor.
If they have a phone, they can talk to the family member as well. So it's like if they don't have a phone as well.
I would think most would have a phone number. When mentioned the TikTok, I think is a very good point because so maybe question is how do we convert
The employer or the helper?
the employees?
I think it's honest communication is very important. Running away from their job, rather than talking to them honestly that what's bothering them, what's impacting them, what is real, like how much they can take it, how much they can't take it. And yeah, sometimes maybe employer, even though their intention can involve, everyone is different. Sometimes even though some employers have the intention is good, but they don't understand. But I think effect communication, open communication is very, very important rather than honestly tell them that what, rather than blaming the employer, telling them what the person is feeling at this moment, how it's affecting her, that will be, I think, more effective.
Okay, let me add a little bit to that. When you're working with your employer, only you know the situation. So I can't say, look, you do this, you do that. Because you can kind of like judge, okay, she comes to the door, she had long face, so you don't know, oh man, what can I do in life? I mean, like get on with that moments and wait till she comes to you. Yeah. Because sometimes we want to help, but our help doesn't help.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing if we have this open communication thing.
And I think how you feel, saying that it's very important rather than the blaming the person. Not exactly blaming, but how you put it, like, oh, you're doing this, you are doing that. Rather than that, you just tell them, I'm feeling like this when this is happening. So you are telling your feelings, you're not blaming anyone.
Thank you so much. And so maybe like what you mentioned, due to time limit, we'll have our last question. So I think I see like a lot of you are like friends with one another, and I see like there's a very strong support over here. So my question is, if we are witnessing a close friend who is feeling stressed and anxious, how can we actually be a better friend to support the friend that is having facing the problem?
Funny that you asked that question because I have one here. I know the answer to it. I anticipate everything, even the kitchen sink. Okay, let me just read it. Okay, we don't judge them. We don't judge our friend. Even sometimes we judge them, right? We say, but in our heart we judge them, but we don't say it out.
Normal.
Which I think is
Minsan, pero
sometimes we have to be human, ma.
Yeah,
Listen
listen.
to what they say, okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh, really? Say, oh, is that true? La, 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 la. So at the end of the day, sometimes they don't want solution.
They
They
just
want
want to
someone to listen to
listen.
them.
Yes, yes. That's right.
Everybody agree with me?
Yeah.
So I'm saying something. I'm saying something that is makes sense, right?
Yes.
It's the same with me. I know the answer. I know the solution, but I don't want to hear from her. I want to hear from me. I want to hear. I want to say to her so that she will say, "You are right." So does it make sense to you, Minjan? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I think we all need listening. Yeah. So yeah, so thank you once again, Sue and Mimi, for for really taking our time, even though today is this day, to really share your knowledge about taking care of our mental health. So before we proceed, we will now present a token of appreciation to Mimi and Sue. For taking the time and sharing with us available.
Sorry, yes. Okay, so before we end up, I have some announcements to make. So firstly, on the table, you see a survey form in your bucket on the table, which would like you to fill in regarding on how you feel about today's event. So it would be great if you fill that in and give us your valuable feedback. So once you fill in the form, you just kindly place the survey form back to the bucket for us. Okay. Next, for our upcoming CLW events, there will be a MAT run, MAT. Essentially, hang out and October. If your interest and closer to the date, we will contact you again and provide you with more information. Right. Alternatively, you may also follow us on our Instagram, our Facebook, or even look out our official CLW website for future events and updates. Okay, that's all for announcements. We have actually come to the end of today's workshop. We would like to thank you for your participation, and we hope that this event has been beneficial for you. So as mentioned earlier, we have some refreshments for everyone at the Grove Terrace. So to prevent overcrowding at the Grove Terrace, we're calling you out to go to the Grove Terrace by your groupings. Okay?
Maybe give us some time for the team to prepare.
Yeah, just give us about 2 more minutes. Maybe we can see the 2 minutes there.
Hindi mo naman magagawa.
Like a run. Like a.
It's way I like.
All right, okay, can I have group 1 and group 2 to head out first to the Grove Terrace?
Just like.
Group 1 and 2.
We can go and take. Then we'll go. Oh, I want to fill this up first.
Later?
Yeah, later.
For what? Okay. May bayan. Lunchtime.
Yeah, group 1, group 2, just 2 tables. You all can just proceed out. There's 2 from the door.
Yung one on
Well, ikuha mo na lang kami.
yeah.
All together we go up?
Yeah, we can go out together. But you want to finish writing this?
Oh, we can do it later.
Yeah, I can do it later. Okay, we can go out.
Okay, and group 2, if you all
No, we can fill up this one. Kala? Ano? I-fill up daw muna yung form. Yan na. Mamaya na. Sige na, mamaya na yan. Tara na. Rafael. Sa taas.
Okay, once you guys are done filling up the survey form and I call you up to the roof terrace to grab your refreshments, you can either stay outside or just come back in to your table to have your lunch refreshments.
Thank you so much.
For food 3, just that you're ready, you can proceed up for your refreshments.
If any of you all have finished writing forms, any group is ready, you can just say that, yeah, let's go at numerical order, but if the songs are ready. Thank you.
Hindi, punta tayo muna. Ha? Oo, mag-toilet muna tayo. Punta tayo. Punta tayo. you alone? Where are the rest?
My friend is in the toilet.
Are you doing online?
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook Live.
YouTube.
YouTube. Oh, is this still live?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's watching, your friends?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your name?
Gigi.
Gigi. That's YouTube?
Yeah.
YouTube. Where are you from?
Philippines.
Oh, okay. Which part of the Philippines?
In Iloilo. Somewhere in Visayas.
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 There was a lady called Estrella. She was just telling me that Philippines is separated to three parts.
Yeah.
Is it or two parts?
Yeah. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao.
But Visayas border.
Yeah. I'm at the middle
In the
part.
middle part. So how long have you been in Singapore?
Almost 8 years this November.
What? 8 or 18?
8 years.
Oh, wow. That's very young. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And how many employees?
One only.
Oh, so far away? Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Are they Chinese,
Actually, they are originated from Malaysia. Then now, after 2 years, staying with them, they become Singaporeans.
Oh, yeah. So now they're asking. Do you cook for them?
Yeah.
What do you cook?
Actually, I don't know how to cook before. Just follow some recipes like that, and then make a list.
YouTube recipes?
Yeah. Sometimes you send me recipes
Oh, okay. You follow this.
and I just do something like to make it different, like to change.
So do you like cooking?
Yeah. Of course.
Wow. Look at so well.
I'm not so well, but I just like to cook.
Yeah, but a lot of people define cooking tiring and preparing and
Actually, it's nice.
so have you come up from this before or this is the first time?
No. Actually, I'm outside the home academy already. Last time I went to for academy before. Now I'm outside already, and I had my friends tell that workshop I did
So your connection to home?
No more.
Oh, last time, but last time you used to go to home. Well, how do you feel about this event?
I like it.
How do you feel? How do you feel?
How do
you know?
I heard from my friend.
Oh,
Currently in home. Like that. So I asked her to go out actually today, but she said she's attending with me. So I joined her.
Oh, okay. So I think you wanted to go out.
Yes.
And she said she's coming for you.
Yeah. Then I told her, can I join or how to register, how to So she sent me the link. Like that. I registered myself. Yes, of course. Because we're friends. We just trying to spend our time together. Because we seldom see each other. So she's now currently at home, I think.
Currently at home. Studying.
Yeah, learning. So I'm not gonna go.
So but limited time.
Yeah, the time. We seldom catch up each other. Yeah, I like this vibe because it's very educational.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. We're gonna go outside. There's some scenery.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her.
Oh, waiting for her.
Later.
We'll catch up with
Thank
you
you.
later.
Hello.
Pero tapos na tayo. Pwede na tayong ulit. Tapos na pala. Ha? Tapos na ba? Wala silang silot. Wala. Balang bilis sila. Painit. Kainit. Dari sa buhay. Pagkit na papanida. So, mapakanda na tap. Dahil yung natang plano tap. Reach for our goal by tonight. Dahil yung natang plano tap. Again. Dahil yung natang plano tap. Dahil yung natang plano tap. Ano? Canada ba? Bakit hindi masyadong mainit ng lamig na? Hindi lang urok ka sa toilet, hello. Ano yun, basa ka na girl. Ay, dito sa labas. Dari aircon. May closing remarks ba ba? Wala na. Wala. Mag-end ako. Pagtuloy ko ano? Walang go. Tara. Mga tapusin mo. Kain mo ka. Tapusin mo na. Kain mo. Nagkagan mo sa tubig na. Tapos na para sa'yo? Of course. Hindi na mainit yung kape eh. Ayaw ko na mainit. Kaya mo. Gusto ko yung mainit. Fill up ko na yan eh. What do you like about this? Ano? The discussion. Ano daw ang nagustuhan mo sa event na to? The discussion. Yeah. Ayaw ko na. Okay lang ka. Ang sure basis yun na. What do you think could be better? Learn. Try to know your stress. Ayaw ka atin. Try to know your stress. Learn where it comes. Ayaw ka atin ng okay. What future activities do you think will be helpful, or what do you have? Right. Upcoming events, punta tayo, Mad Drum. Okay na?
Palawan Beach, September 4.
Yung tayo, girl.
Isa tayo.
Magkano yung registration? Madran? Okay.
Ito ko yan, baby, mag-drum.
Shop like this. Good. Good. Okay. Ilagay daw dyan, no? Diba? Tapos na tayo, girl. Saan ka pupunta? Ikot sa mer?
Saan ka pupunta?
Wala. Ikaw kasama ko eh.
Wala rin.
Lakad tayo kung saan.
Oh, tapos uwi tayo.
Uwi tayo maya. Aga pa. Bilis lang mo. Parang nabitin ako sa discussion. Nabitin sa discussion. Pagkaroon natin yung ano, yung event. Next event. Okay. Paano mag-register nito? May link sila, girl. Hindi tayo pwedeng humingi ng link yan? Sa kanila rin?
Napapadala yakit sila.
Sige. September? Gusto ko yan, girl. Atin tayo, girl. Parang marathon? Di ba parang marathon yan? Oh my God. Yan ko na to kasi ano. Bye! End ko na. Tapos na.